Hi everybody, my name is John. Today we're going to be installing Windows NT 4 Workstation. This was an operating system that came out in 96 or 97. I think it was 97, but I'm not 100% sure. I have lots of hours under my belt with this operating system. I probably started using this in 1998, and I want to say used it into the early 2000s, probably 2001, 2002, 2001 for sure, maybe even as late as 2002. And we did migrate to Windows 2000 and then eventually Windows XP. So, but this is a full copy of the disk. I found this just I think it was yesterday. And the CD is here. You can see what a pretty CD this is. So I had to actually make an ISO of this because I don't have any sort of optical media drive. So no CD-ROM, no DVD, no Blu-ray in my main machine. In fact, and my MacBook Pro, which is an older one, to mid-2012. Actually, me and my girlfriend both have mid-2012s. My CD-ROM apparently doesn't work. It wouldn't even push it in. So I had to use hers. Luckily, it worked, and I was able to make an ISO. I'm not going to go over how to make an ISO. It's relatively straightforward, and it's kind of outside the scope of what I want to talk about in this video. So I'm going to be using Oracle the VirtualBox for my VMs. I was using VMware Workstation, and I honestly just didn't like the way it felt, the way it worked. It's just a little weird. We do use VMware at work, and it works, of course, a lot much better. And every time I'd launch VMware Workstation, it was always asking me to upgrade. It was always asking me to do annoying things. So so we're going to use VirtualBox here, and yeah. So the only setting I did change in VirtualBox before I got started was I'm pointing it at my E drive here. The default is to go to like your home directory, and I do have a EVM or virtual machines. Oh, let's delete those. So full disclosure, I just started a video. Don't worry, I haven't actually installed, even though you did see a Windows NT directory there. I actually haven't installed Windows NT on my PC in VirtualBox. I tried to do it on VMware Workstation. It just threw up. Did not like it. I did install it VirtualBox on my my Mac, and it worked fine. So I'm hoping that we'll kind of run through the. It'll work okay here. So I don't actually have a VM directory here, do I? That's interesting. So let's change this to this, and hopefully this works. We'll do virtual machines, and we'll click OK. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, so without further ado, and I'm just double checking my screen settings here. So I actually have 2 monitors now, which hopefully will make my life much easier. So Windows NT Workstation, let's go ahead and install it and see. Oh, the one thing I did want to show was the ISOs. So those are under spinning ISOs, and so you can see the NT ISO that I created from this CD is just under 600 megs. I think a CD-ROM was either, I think I want to say it's 620 or 600. Actually, I think the extended was like a 700 meg image is the biggest you can make. And then I also downloaded some service packs for it. I've got service pack 3, 4, 6. And then this I have never installed before. I have a lot of hours of Windows NT under my belt, and this is some sort of USB support badge. I was like, oh, okay, try that out. I don't know if it'll work or not work, but we'll give it a shot if we can get. So I also created a ISO of this NT, and that's all 3 of them rolled up. So look at that ISO; it's just under 90 meg. It's kind of crazy that I have 3 service packs and basically a hotfix in here, or a patch, whatever you want to call it, for under 90 megs. Like I don't even think the Windows updates are anywhere near, like a single Windows update's probably barely under 90 meg these days, let alone the whole month's worth of what you might need for like Windows 10. It's probably a couple hundred meg minimum, probably somewhere between 200 and 400 meg is my guess. Anyways, so let's go ahead and start installing this. So we'll say new. So the nice thing is this VirtualBox, man, it goes, you can install Windows 3.1 all the way to Server 2016 Windows 10. So this is actually a 16-bit operating system, and then you start with the 32 bits, and then you start rolling into the 64 bits operating system. So we're going to do Windows NT because that's what we're installing. So we'll call this Windows NT 4.0 Workstation. And we'll click next. Memory, this thing does not require a lot of memory. I'm going to do 512 gigabytes of RAM, or megabytes of RAM. Because why not, right? We need a little more RAM. I think most machines had somewhere around 100. I think 256, maybe 256 on up to maybe a gig of RAM was pretty normal back in the day. I think this machine has 32 gigs of RAM, so I could give it probably a full 4 gig, which I think is all it'll support, and it would be more than plenty. And then the hard drive that this VM is going to be landing on is an SSD, just to show you. And I think it's got plenty of space. I've only used about 22 gig of the SSD. So, anyways, so we'll say next. We're going to go ahead and create a virtual hard disk. We're just going to go with the default to VDI image. We'll have it dynamically expand the size. That means as files change or get added, the disk will grow. It won't shrink, but it will grow. We can run a command to shrink it, but I don't think we'll really need to do that. This isn't going to use that much size. So 2 gig hard drives were not uncommon back then. I'm gonna go to, I think Windows NT supported at least for a C drive up to 8 gigs, I want to say, of hard drive space. 4 gig will be more than plenty of what we're going to use it for. So I'm gonna go with 4 gig. From my memory, I think that worked, and I think that's what I installed on my Mac. So so we'll say create. So now we got Windows NT4 in gold. We even got a cool little icon. So let's go ahead and hit start, and then it should ask us for where our media is. Aha, right. So let's browse to the right spot. So mine, it's spinning ISO, and it's this Windows NT4, and then I hope this works. And we're gonna say start. And I'm just going to bring this up. Oh, yep, it's looking good. I'm going to say don't show me that anymore. Oh my gosh. Close that. Just close these annoying messages so you guys can see the screen. Okay, look at this. We're in the setup wizard. Yay. So I know it might be a little hard to see. I don't think I can make this any bigger. But basically, we have the option to learn more about NT, set up NT, repair NT, which never worked, and to quit the install. So unlike the newer operating systems, if you left the CD in the CD-ROM and it was set for the first boot device, it would boot right to it. There's none of this. In later operating systems, when it boots, it says press any key to boot to the ISO, otherwise it boots to the hard drive. So there was no safety features back then. It was a little more cut and dry. Anyways, let's hit enter. Yep, so we're gonna go, so that's the installation media. It's on this IDE CD-ROM, which of course is a virtual CD-ROM, but that works good enough for us. We'll go ahead and hit enter. And so it's, I don't know how well you can see. Let me see if I can do this. Right control, which is this one. So we're popping this out. So interesting thing, it'll tell you right here, right control. So if you don't have, so if you need to break out of something, so if I click in, see how it went green? So if I hit the right control on my keyboard, it breaks it out and gives me my cursor back. So as you can see, we have a couple of different options here. So we can say continue setup and press C. So that means once we press C, it'll start the installation process. Start identifying things, or we can F3 to exit. We're going to go ahead and hit C to continue our install, and then just page down like I agree not to read that, and then you have to do the F8. And F8 was around for a while on the agreement. I think that's finally gone. I think that's just sort of a click through now. Back then these were, I think, up until I want to say even XP had some of this. It's been a long time. 2000 definitely had a very similar looking install. So we'll say F8. And then if we needed to change anything, so the computer is a standard PC, yeah, we'll say so. Display, we'll do auto detect. Keyboard, we're going to leave it as the XT. Layout is a US keyboard, that works. Microsoft mouse, that looks good. So we're going to say all that looks good and hit enter. Of course, we could change that if we wanted to. You can arrow through all this stuff, but I'm just going to hit enter because this looks like what I want to do. And again, we have the F3 key we could always use to exit. Okay, so this is the destruction part. So we have a 4 gig drive that we're going to install this to, and we hit enter to install, and we're going to install as NTFS. You could actually install Windows NT to FAT file system, and this is FAT16, which would have been limited to 2 gigabytes, and I'm not sure if it would fail or not. I think FAT16 was limited to 2 gig. Or was it 4 gig? No, it's 2 gig, I'm pretty sure. NTFS can go, of course, larger, even these older versions of NTFS. So we're going to do NTFS, gives us better permissions, it's more secure, which, you know, we all know at this point this operating system's not secure. But go ahead and hit enter, and this is the super fast version of installing. So this is asking, what do we want to call it? Now, modern operating systems have Windows. We're going to go ahead and leave this as just WinNT. So this is on your modern operating system, you'd be C:\Windows. This is actually going to be C:\WinNT. But I'm going to leave it. I don't like to mess with this. We're going to go ahead and do the exhaustive disk check, which should take a second on this newer hardware. I mean, this is ridiculously fast how fast this goes. We're going to go ahead and hit enter. We're not going to remove the disk because it's going to need it anyways when oh, actually we are going to eject it, otherwise it's going to boot to it again. So it's sort of a dance. We have to pop this out. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this, and that gets rid of it, as you can see. And then we'll hit enter, and then it's going to boot, and it's going to say, I don't see the install media. It's really annoying. Ooh, the bootloader. I forgot all about this. So you have these cool kind of geeky looking screens. Oh yeah, and this version of Windows NT is Service Pack 1, which I think is the version I first started dealing with. I think Service Pack 3 had just come out, kinda, and so when I would install it, I'd always install the Service Pack 1 and then the Service Pack 3. So what it just did there was it actually formats the drive as FAT first and then converts it to NTFS. I'm not sure why it does that. But that's what it does. Some of these screens are going to fly by, but oh, look at that fancy thing. Oh, where's the disk? Oh, super annoying. So, boys and girls that don't have to ever have dealt with this, you're very lucky. So I just reconnected the device or the CD, so I just went back in optical drives, put the check back in. Should be there. Let's hit OK and see if it picks it up. Yep. So now we got the GUI, and this really looks like a Windows 3.1.1 sort of screens. So we'll say next. So we got the typical, which is recommended. So these are different install types. Newer Windows don't do this, but Windows did do this for quite some time. I'm going to do the custom just so we can kind of see all the different options that were available. So we're going to say, I always did authorized user, and we'll just do John I guess. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Ooh, the key. So I do have a key, and I'm going to move this off screen for just a second so I can enter it in, because I don't want to share it with you because I'm a jerk. But I'll let me put it over here so I can see. Oops. Dang it. Kind of a weird looking. There we go. Alrighty, so it's this. And then you actually have to click. It doesn't like fall over by itself, which again is super annoying. And then for that 803. I think that's right. So we're gonna click next and make sure that's right. Yep. So let me bring that back down. Go. Okay. So now we can give our computer a machine name. We're just going to call this NT4 work. Yeah, that'll work. NT4 work, who cares? We can always change the name later if we want to, so we're going to click next. Password, we'll just do something I'm not going to tell you guys, so there. So administrator password. So this would be, this actually created a floppy disk, 3.5-inch floppy repair disk. And it would really just fix the bootloader, the boot INI, if it got messed up for some reason. I am going to not create that because I really don't care. And I almost never created that even. The only time we would do this is maybe for servers, especially Exchange servers, we would run this because those are really a pain in the butt. But for the most part, for workstations, we never did this. So I'm just going to click no. So here's, because we selected the custom, we can look at all the options. So accessibility, which really hasn't, I mean, it's changed, but it's, I think it, you guys know what that is. It enhances, enhances the visual options and for and hearing options for different things. Accessories, we could actually look at the details on that. It has the calculator, character map, clipboard viewer, which I wish we kind of still had. You can add all these extra wallpapers. Let's do that. That might be fun. So we'll add that. It's going to add 0.8 megabytes. Megabytes! Like not even a whole meg. It's crazy. Document templates. Mouse pointers. Oh yeah, mouse pointers are like... People had all these crazy mouse pointers. They're so annoying, especially when you're supporting machines. I'm not going to install those. Object packager. What is that? Enables you to insert embed. Oh, wow. Not even part of it. The famous MS Paint that everybody loves so much. Quick view enables you to preview a document without opening. So it's kind of interesting to see a lot of these technologies were around a very long time. Screensavers, another thing that were super annoying. People would install a million of and then complain, oh, the screensaver doesn't work, or I downloaded this off AOL or CompuServe or some other annoying service. I don't care. So you can see space needed for this stuff. 8.4 megs out of my 4 gig, roughly 4 gigs of install. So that's cool. Communications. Ooh, let's see what we got under here. Oh, let's see. We got the chat, which I never really use. We would actually do NetSends, which did the net BIOS. Anyways, it was just, they would pop up a window on your machine if we needed to get somebody's attention. Hyperterminal, we did sometimes use. It was a terminal emulator. It was not great. Network guys used it somewhat because I think you could do straight. They could use the serial connector on it. Phone dialer. I think if you were doing a dial-up connection, I think you needed that. I'm going to leave all that stuff, but I won't use it, but what the heck. Games. Well, this is awfully important. Let's see what we got. Ooh, Freecell, Minesweepers. The pinball was actually kind of fun. And, of course, Solitaire. We'll go ahead and install all those. It's 11 meg. Games are always the biggest, right? Multimedia. Ooh, let's see what we got here. We've got the CD player, so it'll actually play music. It won't play any videos, but it will play music. We have the jungle sound. I don't know what that is. Media player, so that's been around since forever apparently. We have different sound things. So let's install a couple of these just for fun. Robots, sample sounds, and the volume control. So we need that too, right? So we'll go with that. Windows messaging. So this is if you had an old Exchange server, I believe is what this was for. Let's go to the details on it. Internet mail. Oh, it was any sort of mail. So I think this would do like POP3. This I think was for, there was Microsoft Mail, which was preceding Microsoft Exchange, and then Windows Messaging, which I think was Microsoft Exchange. Yeah, I'm happy. So, I'm not going to install any of those because I'm not checking my mail on this thing. So next, and we're going to go ahead and install. Dun dun dun. Oh, we connect this. Do not connect. Oh, we have to figure out whether. So Windows NT didn't really have a great plug and play, and Microsoft was sort of late to the game on TCP/IP too, or at least good TCP/IP. So let's see, your computer is connected to the network by an ISDN or a network adapter. So that's what we want. This would be for dial-up connections. And dial-up connections back then were very prevalent. So luckily they are not anymore. Wi-Fi is everywhere. You have to really be in dire straits to use remote access. And even using remote access, I don't know how it would ever work. Let's see. Oh, thank God I found it. So Windows NT did not have plug and play. So if you didn't know what it was, you'd have to kind of figure it out from this god-awful list. And or you'd have to have a disk of drivers. And the Windows 95 drivers don't work with Windows NT and vice versa. So let's go through here. Ooh, protocol. So of course we want TCP/IP. That's still around, mostly unchanged. But you know, it's still. So this is IPX, SPX, and it's NW stands for NetWare. So this is allows you to speak to NetWare servers. NetWare servers didn't have IP until probably a few years later than this operating system at least came out. I think probably either very, very late 90s or early 2000s. NetWare started finally supporting IP. And then NetBEUI. Ooh, NetBEUI was it was an okay workgroup sort of protocol. It wasn't routable, so it would only be stuck on your little LAN. But it didn't have, and it just used WINS, which is Windows Internet Naming Service, to do sort of a broadcast finding of computers and printers and blah, blah, blah. And it never went far. Thank God. TCP/IP really went far. And this really couldn't go far because it literally was not routable. And I don't think it was very secure either. I think NetBEUI was relatively easy to read over the wire. So let's click next. Oh, and then network services. So this actually I think all this stuff still exists even to this day. And let's see what else is here. So so we can add SNMP service if we wanted. A lot of this stuff has kind of been broken out over the years into other stuff. We're going to just cancel that. This is the default stuff's plenty for what we need. Alright, cool. Oops. And, we're going to go with the full duplex of this, which I have no idea with. Oh, wow. So it's untwisted pair you could set it for. AUI, which was like a coax type cable, or default. We're just going to leave it at default and say continue. Let's do this before I forget. Let's set this up right. Network adapter. So we actually want bridged. There we go. And yeah, bridged. All right. Hopefully that'll work. Actually, I'm just going to make a quick check. Make sure that that's Ethernet. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Okay. Cool. So, do we wish to use DHCP? Yes. Oops. Hopefully it should pick up. Yep, looks like it picked up an IP. Now it's got a bunch of stuff. So the WINS client. So Windows NT. So newer versions of Windows, Windows 2000 and newer that were corporate grade, I would call them, relied on DNS for all its name resolution. But Windows NT, older than 2000, Windows 95, they all used WINS, which was a Windows Internet Naming Service. I think it was a standard Microsoft was trying to push, and it never really took off. Thank God. Again, thank God. It was and we still support it to this day because some of the older Linux machines, it's the only way they know how to look for Windows machines. That's so annoying. Anyways, click next, and I think we're going to start our install finally. Is it installing? Yeah, you're getting little things. So this install should go pretty quick. Of course, the default username will be administrator. And I think it's trying to do something. I can see the blinky blink of the lights down here. So, man, I can't believe how well this is working. It's great. Hopefully it's going. Well, that's running. Let's close this out. So I will go ahead and plug and say, if you're enjoying this video, why don't you go ahead and hit the like and or subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I am trying to just make this channel about Some things PowerShell, some things IT, some things, it's all computer related for the most part. Could not obtain an IP address. Interesting. Let me make sure I selected the right one. Network settings. Bridge. Let's just do a NAT for now. I think that'll probably be okay. So, oh, you could actually join it to a Windows NT 4 domain. We don't have a Windows NT domain controller, so I'm going to hit next. Next, we'll just leave it in a work group and finish. So we're just going to wait for it to run. I'll have to figure out that. Alright, so time. So this actually doesn't look that different from even the newer ones. That's funny. We're going to do, I am minus, oops, I'm going the wrong way. -7 mountain time for me. And let's see what's close. 903. Wow, it's really pretty dead on. Ooh, 16 colors, boys and girls. Look at that. We're going to bump this up just because it's easier to read. And it's kind of cool because it has this, and I don't think it'll even let you apply it until you test it. And you can say, okay, and look at that. So that actually is the test screen that it had. And it would just hold that down for about 5 or 10 seconds and then say, yes, did you see that? And you could say, yes. And now you could save it. We'll install the VMware tools, and then we should be able to adjust this out a little bigger and maybe even fix that DHCP problem. But let's let this run and we'll figure it out later. Look at that. So look at that. That's cool. So we are installed. Let me eject the, quote unquote, inject the CD here. We will do a restart of the computer. So, oh yeah, so because video was so kludgy back in the day, you could actually boot. I'm going to stop this for a second. There would be a boot menu that would come up, and you can shorten this. We used to keep it at 5 seconds, so it wouldn't be a full 30. But you could boot this into just a VGA mode in case you screwed up your display, or somebody swapped out a monitor and for some reason it didn't pick it up right. You know, the plug and play we have today, I think we've taken for granted, and it does 99.999% of the time a great job at picking up drivers. If you had to live through these days, you would appreciate what we have for sure. So I'm going to hit enter, and then of course you have the last known profile. You can see the build, which is Service Pack 1, and look at that. So we still have the Control-Alt-Delete, so I am going to send a Control-Alt-Delete. Put in my password here. And ooh, look at that screen. Dun dun dun. Just on the desktop here itself, it's only in 16 colors, so it doesn't look great. It actually will look a lot better once we install the VirtualBox tools. So you get this little welcome thing. I'm just going to close that. And we'll go through this a little more, but the first thing I do want to do is install those tools so it looks a little better. So insert guest edition. So basically this is like inserting a CD-ROM that has all the drivers. Look at that. So as an auto run, we're going to go ahead and say next. Oops. Next. And I'm just going to go with the defaults here. And of course we're not going to, this will not support Direct3D because it's way too old. And I don't have the service packs installed yet, which is okay. It seemed to work okay yesterday. It really wants Service Pack 6 because that's probably what they tested with, but I think it'll be okay. We'll say yes, we'll install it, and we'll hope. Finish. So everything you do in Windows NT, changing the IP address on it, if you're statically set and you change the IP address, you have to reboot. It's such a hassle. So again, booting with these god ugly screens. This means you do not have to. Oh yeah, so go away. I don't care. So we're going to do another view. Oops, of input. Control-Alt-Delete, and we'll put in our password. Look at that. Yes, yes, yes. So now we have, so it pulled up the display properties with us because it saw that we installed something a little better. And we can actually go true color here, and I don't know how big we want to go. Might be, let's see if this works. We just have to test it. We have to test it. Oh, there you go. So 1024 by 768. Look at this bitmap. Isn't that amazing? I don't know. Something be said about that. Oh my God, stop. And we can even set the hertz if we wanted to. It does show us all modes as well, which I kind of wish we had these days. This is actually something that left, I think in T40 or maybe 2000 was the last time I saw this. And I actually always liked this because it really gave me a good idea of what was there. So I'm going to say OK. All right, that is so much better. So now we've got all sorts of cool stuff. The last thing I wanted to do, at least in this video, is I wanted to see if we could install the ISOs. So the couple things I want to do, the machine. So let's first try to see if we can do the drag and drop bidirectional and drag and drop on the clipboard as well. I don't know if this is going to work. This wasn't working on my Mac, but we're going to try to see if we can just drag and drop this stuff here, because I don't really, let's see. I get the little red X. That's not good. Let's try copying it just for fun. I don't think that's going to work either, but yeah, it doesn't even give it. Control V. No. Okay. So I did make an ISO of it earlier. Let's go to device optical. I hope this works. It was bombing out when I was trying to do this. So this is the NT for SP, stands for service pack. Let's open it and let's see. Oh, how do I get there? Oh yeah. So let's so there's a temp directory here. So we're gonna put all these service packs in there. It looks like, oh cool, they're all there. So let's copy them over. Super fast, and let's refresh. And if you notice, man, this is a pretty rudimentary thing. When I double click on this, it's interesting how it pops up these windows separately. Windows, the newer version of Windows just kind of pops it up. There's no bar here to know where you're at. So let's go ahead and install. So we'll start with Service Pack 3. Next, I agree to read that. Install Service Pack. I don't care. Screw. Wow, look at that. That was fast. Boom. So now it's going to reboot. And hit enter. And we should see on the blue screen that comes up, Service Pack 3 now. You can see it there. So it did say Service Pack 1. So you have to step through the service packs because some of the features, there were newer features that were added, but they weren't necessarily in all the service packs. So you have to install them. But Service Pack 5 had an issue, and I can't remember what it was, but it definitely had some problems. And I thought, well, it's probably best just to skip it because I don't want to blow up this installation. And I do remember even back in my day, I never really messed with it. So let's do Service Pack 3. Back up. I don't care. We'll accept that. Install. Do a restart. I know this isn't very interesting, but so essentially I'm installing it. Now these service packs took back in my day, they took probably 20 to 30 minutes to install. So it's actually just crazy how much faster these machines are. Did it install or is it done? Oh, there it goes. So this took what, maybe 30 seconds to install with the reboot. So it's pretty fast. It's kind of crazy how fast these things are now. So now when we reboot, it should say, I think Service Pack 4 is what I just installed. Yeah. And then we'll do Service Pack Service Pack 6 or 6A, whatever we got. Yeah, 6A it looks like. And we should be in pretty good shape. So you're just seeing the double cursor because I haven't clicked in. So as soon as I click in, you'll see it. In case you were wondering. Oh wow, to resolve the Windows NT 4 year 2000 issues, you must install the following versions of Creator Program below. IE4, awesome, and Data Access Component. Wow. Yeah, I want to see that README. That's kind of cool. So, you know, we're in 2017. So today is December 20th. 2017, so interesting. I came up with a window, so that's cool. Anyways, alright, let's close that. We got one more service pack to install, and that'll be service pack 6A. So there was a 6 that I think had some issues, and 6A was the patch of the patch, I guess, was probably the right way to put that. I accept to read that, I don't really care. And restart. Dun, 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 dun. So this will give us for a pack, and I think hopefully, I wonder if this upgrades IE, because the IE that comes with this is IE 2.0, IE2, right? I mean, I forgot that there was even an IE2. 4 was like kind of the big first browser, I guess. So enter, so this thing goes. Oops, 6. Service pack 6. It doesn't say 6A, and I don't think it ever did. I think it was just 6. Hell, it's better than 1 anyways. So now I'm debating on whether I'm not going to do that USB patch yet, unless there's a reason to. I'm not gonna. There's no reason to tempt fate here. So input, insert, Control Delete, and give it a minute. Dun, dun, dun. All right, cool. So I think, let's just see. Well, we have Internet Explorer here. Let's look at the version. Ooh, yuck. Seriously, this was a web browser in like 1990 something. Look at that. Internet Explorer version 2.0. Like if I go to, let's see if I can go to Google. Let's see if it works. Yeah, this is Google. That's pretty amazing, right? It does actually work. So, what I don't even know what to look for. Firefox. What? So it kind of works. It's kind of interesting. It's not going to be able to do HTTPS. So we can actually get on the web. That's kind of neat. It's crazy. And so the whole install with service packs copied over 728 megabytes. So it's well under a gig. So it's an interesting thing. It's so crazy. Anyways, all right. I think this is where I'm going to cut it in this video. We have Windows NT installed with Service Pack 6. I'm not going to do anything else with this. The last thing I did want to show you is the power off. I forgot about it, but it was fun to watch it. So the interesting thing is, first let me get away from that. So when you hit click Start Shutdown, it's interesting that it doesn't default to close all programs and log on as a different user, which is the long version of saying, do you want to log off? That's really what that means. It defaults to shut down computers. So if you were super click happy, and I've done this back in production servers. I have shut down Exchange servers, domain controllers, and file servers, and I mean, not all those, but I've shut down a few major services inadvertently, and so plenty of other admins I know because it defaulted to shut down computer. The other interesting thing is, you say shut down, you can say yes, and watch this. This is interesting. So it's writing whatever it's writing. I think it's clearing out the page file and whatever. Come on. Doesn't actually power the machine down. That's really what I want to show you. This took forever, especially if you had a lot of RAM. The more RAM you had, the longer this took. So look, it doesn't actually power it down. So you have two options. You can either hit restart, which of course restarts the operating system, or in this case, tools aren't running anymore. Come on. We just click OK, and then we can say power off the machine. So you literally have to go push the button, power it off. So Anyways, that is NT 4.0 install workstation, and the next video I plan on doing with it is kind of going over some of the things that NT4 didn't have, and has probably gone away over the years. But yeah, it's kind of a fun video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and like I said in my middle of the video, subscribe if you liked it, leave a comment, and if anybody's got an NT40 server disk like this that you want to, well, look a little different. I think it's just a white, mostly a white case that you want to send me a message, and I'll give you an address that you can send it to. And there's my dogs barking. Awesome. All right, guys and girls, hopefully. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.